Hey, what's going on, friends? My podcast every day is broken up into two parts on the free platform. The first part, Act 1, is right now. When it's all done, go right on over to Act 2 to get the second half of the podcast. Thank you so much for checking out my show. It's getting a little long, harder to manage. Hello and welcome to each and every one of you. It is time for the Eric Zane Show podcast, a daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my adventures from right here in the Impact Power Sports Studio. Impact Power Sports, you can find them online at impactpowersportsmi.com. I'll be with Impact Power Sports at the Outdoors Show, the Neckbeard Show, next weekend at DeVos Place. I'll be there Saturday. So when you show up to, like, buy a fishing pole or some waders or whatever the hell that you hilljacks buy, I will be at the Impact Power Sports area selling ATVs and side-by-sides and golf carts. So join me. That's Saturday. I have to break down the thing that's on everybody's mind, and that is, I'll say this. Free beer has balls of steel or just an... Hold on. There's a cat in here. Stand by. We cannot have a cat in here. Holy cow. I can count on one hand the times that's happened. Darla. I'm sitting here starting to tell that story, and I hear, like, what is that? Is one of the dogs snoring or something? You saw me look behind me. Then I'm like, wait a minute. I don't know what that is. And then it dawns on me, it's meowing. And I'm like, holy shit. Yesterday on the Ben and Eric podcast, and Who Are These Free Beers, massively interrupted by Darla. It was incredible. I'll edit that out of the audio show. But it was like 3 or 4 times, and it's happening right now. You can probably hear her in the background. Maureen with a great point. Easy is wearing jeans. He must have left the house today. I did, and I'm not wearing like a winter cap. I mean, I actually look acceptable enough, presentable enough to, like, go out to, to Meyer or whatever. More on that in a second. Rue State Blob, not to be mixed up with Blue State Rob, says Greg's lips look like a botched labiaplasty. So what if he adds another fake vagina to his body? More fun for us, without a doubt. Hold that thought. I got to open that damn door so she can go outside of this room. I swear to God, I'll be able to start this podcast in seconds. I'm not going to leave for more than 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Okay, there you go. Enjoy yourself. Be free. Roam the land. I don't care what you do. Thank you for your patience today. When it comes to me getting here late, I'm grateful to be able to do this. You know, just say, hey, I'm going to be a little late today and whatnot, and then here we are. So thank you. So yeah, I heard from several people. I did not see Greg's tattoo because he has me blocked on social media, which is quite redeeming in my opinion. But the first person who weighed in was Dr. Jim Barry, who he's one of those doctors who's like not a doctor. Subject line, the tat. I'm sure someone has already sent this, or you found it yourself just in case. Can't wait to hear the Eric Zane analysis. Let's get into it. I'm sure you want to see it. All right, now, whatever thoughts cross your mind in the audience and you want to leave it in the chat, by all means. You know, I count on you for a lot of fodder and hilarity. So have at it. Greg has a tattoo on his upper arm between his shoulder and his elbow of it's a large octopus. And he's like center, like very colorful. And then behind it, it looks like water or something. It's weird how it lays out. It's almost like he'd have been better off if it was just the octopus. Well, he would have been better off with nothing. He actually would have had a better chance of some degree of masculinity if it was, instead of the octopus, it said, "Please kick my fucking ass." Rue State Blob says it would be less embarrassing if he got divorced again. All right, so I saw that, and I was right away kind of flabbergasted. I didn't. It takes me a second to kind of. There was something else about what I was seeing that was kind of like making the gears spin in my head, and I couldn't quite place it. And then it dawned on me that despite that tattoo being obscenely horrendous, it pales in comparison to how atrophied and feeble that arm is. Your arm is not supposed to look like that. There are people in the final stages of ALS whose arms have more muscle tone than that arm there. If you're going to get a tattoo like that, you're going to need something else. You're going to actually need to work the arm out, somehow get in shape before you actually put this massive tattoo on your fucking arm. But I give him credit for taking the photograph and posting it. Now, no doubt, I can promise you, this is the wife's choosing. All right? It's the wife's choosing to get the tattoo. It's the wife's choosing to take the picture. Now, here Greg is. Now, I thought I was looking like shit, but his belly is sticking out further than his chest as well. This is a horribly feeble individual right here. That arm, it looks like he had a cast on the upper arm, like it broke in half, like from whatever happened, and then they put the cast on. This is the order of operation. Broken arm 2 years ago. They put it in the cast for 1 year, and then they took it off and realized that it didn't heal right, so they broke it again and put it in a cast for another year, and then when they took it off, the arm looked like this, and then the next day he got the tattoo. That's how awful that arm is. It's not supposed to be, there is no tricep whatsoever. The bicep is non-existent. It's almost like his forearm is bigger than the upper arm. Dear God, man, would you get some fucking exercise, you fucking slob? That is not good. People noticed it, too. Plenty of comments on the Facebook post because, I want to have a fucking field day with this. As soon as I saw it, I go, this is going to be great. My audience is going to kill him. Bobby says, I saw it on Instagram last night. Yo ho ho, a pirate's life for me. Okay. Aaron says, did he lose a bet? Corey says, do a side-by-side. Where's the Mr. 10 tattoo? It's not a bad idea. Nick says, both creatures, both Free Beer and the octopus, have matching arm density. Pat in South Carolina, Patrick says it looks like the Hail Hydra logo. Matt says, as a collector of terrible tattoos, I will say that working out and having a decent arm to put it on is way more important than whatever this bullshit is. Matt says, is he wearing a sports bra? Got to get those moves in. That is Coleman's best buddy and one of my pals, part of that whole posse, Matt H. Eric thought it was actually mine. Victoria said, wait, is that Free Beers for real? Joe Spalding thought it was mine at first and wrote, dude. And then I broke the news to him that it's Free Beers. Rob, Blue State Rob, Roo State Blob says, a tattoo of a creature that breathes water on a guy that is so afraid of water that he won't put his face under a running shower head. That is true. Tyler says, not sure what's worse, the tattoo or the soft, shitty arm. And Phil says, immediately gives hentai vibes. I think I know what that is. Isn't that like illustrations, porno, what do you call it? Animated porno. Tentacle porn. Yeah, I'm not sure the significance of it. That's the thing. Greg would get a tattoo like this for no good reason. Greg probably doesn't like octopi or octopus. I don't even know how you say it. He has nothing to relate to on this. Nothing personally. You know, typically, if you want to get a tattoo, you think long and hard about what you want it to be. I'm guessing if you're the type of person who your wife makes you go in and get a tattoo, like I'm guessing happened here, you're going to have to go in and, like, I don't know, look at samples of their work. Maybe that'll jog something in your brain. Or I don't know, maybe something to do with your kids. But this has always been a thing with Greg. You have to ask the question, why? I mean, what's significant about this fucking horrible beast on this malformed ALS arm? My God. That is hideous. And I can guarantee you, all of the lemmings on his stupid show are telling him how great it is. Roostate Blob says, why becomes why the fuck? Yes. Did he talk about it? Has he talked about it recently? I've been keeping a file. I have a file of times he mentioned his tattoo. Because when he first got it done, he started talking about it quite a bit. So I started establishing clips of him talking about his tattoo, but he hasn't done it in quite some time. I don't know. Anything that is typically a person might maybe something of their trade that they do. Perhaps a microphone. Perhaps someone who is a mentor to him in the industry. Some type of nod to them. Maybe not like George Blaha's face, but you know what I mean. Something that's meant something to you is what a goddamn tattoo should be. It shouldn't be rando pick for no reason. And for the love of God, to start with that monstrosity, the only way to get away from this, I think, is amputation. At some point in time, it's going to make sense to actually hack off the arm. My God. Luke is here. He says, good afternoon. I assume the show was late so you could get your mind wiped by the CIA so you could laugh at this tattoo like the first time you saw it. Rebecca says, this is screaming midlife crisis and my preteen kids hate me. That one cuts deep. Roostate Blob adds, Blob is just killing it on the jokes today. Unless he's a Seattle Kraken fan, there's no valid reason for this, not even to get laid. All right. By the way, is that Luke who won the Bet on Ben game yesterday? If it is, I need you to email me because I think I have your email. Your last name begins with an M. I need to talk to you because you've got $50 that I'm going to send your way via Venmo because of your success. First time playing the game and you won. Outstanding. No, yeah, Greg is interesting to watch this type of all of this happen, you know, with the ridiculous hair, with the tattoo, with the nearly immediate engagement after the divorce of the wife, after the wife left him and divorced him, nearly instantaneously. It was like one day he wasn't married, and then shortly thereafter he was married. The Tesla sports car, all of these things, I think, are on the bingo card for midlife crisis. You're an old fuck who is trying to, I don't know, be young again? I have no idea. Chris in Buffalo says, I wonder what his ex thinks of this asshole now. Oh, God. Yeah, God only knows. I wish she would write a book or just do anything. Just to be a fly on the wall, to hear what it was like behind those doors with this dick. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I need more on that. Well, anyway, good news, though. We are, because his stepkid is Coleman's son. And so that kid's like 12. He's a wonderful kid. And he has to put up with Greg. But it's not going to be long before two things happen in the grand scheme of things. He's old enough to kick Greg's ass. He might be now. That's A. And B, for him to be on this podcast to tell us how fucked up things were inside of that house. Part of me wants to give a recorder to Coleman, a voice-activated digital recorder, and say, hey, put this in the kid's book bag and then get it out of there after he spends a weekend with these fucks, so that we can get it and kind of eavesdrop as to what's happening. Just me saying that now is going to result in Freebeer probably giving the kid a strip search. That's unfortunate. My bad. All right, so I'm really struggling with that arm, though. I mean, how can an adult's arm be that fucking feeble? Jesus Christ. That is a really bad arm. Everything there in front of us is a catastrophe. You should not be showing anyone anything at all. You should just be covered up all the time. There's so much that's fucked up about Freebear physically. I think he's either an alien or somewhat, these are all like deformities. God damn. I could barely spit that joke out. That's embarrassing. Cole says it would just be audio of them listening to your show. Rich says that is the body of someone who does zero manual labor. Rebecca says, what if that's actually his strong arm? Yeah, if I'm Greg, there's a reason why he's a beta male. It's because of that. Jesus Christ. I see him and I actually feel like a dominant fucking alpha. Ugh. That is bad. Really, really bad. Dude, fucking start lifting some weights, you fucking loser. Oh, shit. If you're going to walk around with that pile of shit on your fucking arm, start lifting weights, you stupid piece of shit. God. That is so bad. Badger says, if I was that show, I'd use your show for content. Their ratings would spike. It does them no good for them to talk about me. They are making a huge mistake if they ever reference me in any way. They have been as of late because I'm getting to them, but that is foolish. I was blown away when they started to reference me in the various ways that they do, which are kind of weak to begin with. The only one who's ever tried to put me in my place is Kelly, and that kind of adds up. You know, doing the math, that's kind of her thing. She doesn't give a fuck. She is the most dominant person on that show. She doesn't give a shit about anything, and that's kind of fantastic. In another world, if she weren't so impossible to listen to and old like me and Pooh Bear died, her and I would get married. I can guarantee you that. We are like fucking peas in a pod when it comes to personality. Say whatever the fuck you want, fly off the handle, emotional flashpoints, but that's not happening. Man Bun Chris says, do you think the homeless person in Kelly's house was a bit or real? The guy on the porch, I absolutely think that was real. That was a great bit. Because the cops said, is that your weed? That was great. Man Bun Chris says, seems set up with the cop. I don't think so. I don't think so. If it was, they need to do more of that because that was funny. Yesterday's Who Are These Free Beer? Who Are These Free Beers? Episode number 47. Despite being marred by Darla being a complete butthole for the first part of it, we ended up getting into a groove while discussing. Ben had two story arcs, several clips of them describing, I'm not making it up, how it made them feel to look at videos on TikTok of a guy putting water onto rocks and watching the color of the rocks change when they got wet. Actual segment that happened. Them describing that and how it made them feel. It's as comical and ridiculous as what I just said times 10. They went hard on that. Then Ben featured a terrific segment that he really drilled down on of them discussing why they or how they are whimsical. And we oftentimes during it had to pull ourselves back and say, this is actually happening. This is something that actually happened on the radio where they yes, this is what we're going to do. We planned it. This is a great segment. And then they did it, but they did it for 2 segments. And we were floored by that. Ben had a number of clips, 15 clips from that segment, which were what the fuck? No doubt this is unbelievable. Jeremy says, the whimsical segment made me want to pull a Liam Payne and jump out of my hotel window. Yeah, that's right. You were in a hotel when that was happening because you're an over-the-road trucker. You stopped for the night, and there you are. All right. Well, that is really all I have to say about this. Some people might say, Easy, there's no way you would say anything complimentary about free beer. That's not true. If there was actually something worth talking about that was salvageable or passable, I would absolutely give credit. Again, I don't know what is worse, the arm or the tattoo. I think it's the arm because if he had a tattoo that just was small and it wasn't ridiculous like the stupid octopus. Let's say it was just, let's say he was really religious and it was a cross. I would still be beating him up over the arm. How bad. I don't think I've ever seen an arm look so bad. Stephen Hawking, his arm now, I mean, if you dug up Stephen Hawking and looked at his arm, it would have more muscle tone on it than this arm right here. That's how bad of an arm that is. Jesus Christ. I mean, hell, if he went into the pantry and got a chunky soup can and did some curls for a few months and then maybe a couple of chair dips here and there, it would look 1 million times better than that catastrophe. I don't know how somebody who has an amount of income that is ridiculous can have an arm like that. This guy is going to be dead at about 54 years old. He eats like fuck, and he gets no exercise whatsoever. And then when they say, top story, Greg Neuenfeld died of a heart attack. Let's go to his former coworker, Eric Zane. How do you feel about it? Great. I knew it was coming. It's the biggest upset in the world that he got this far. What a defective human being he is. Jeremy says, whose arms are bigger, Freebird now or Hot Wings before he quit hanging out with Lance Mohawk? There are third grade children who have stronger arms than Greg. But I keep going back to this. I give him, he's either the stupidest person in the world or he doesn't give a fuck. And he has huge balls. So he either has balls, oblivious to what he's showing the world, doesn't give a shit. Maybe his wife put him up to it. None of these things are good. All right? No one should ever see an arm like that. Bob has a joke that I don't get. Eugenia Cooney has more muscle tone than Free Beer. I'm sure that's funny, but I don't know why. Bob's getting a lot of reaction for that joke. Stevie tells me to look her up on YouTube. I'm not going to do it right now because I'm kind of like, I don't want to stop the momentum of this mess. All right? He used to do P90X. Go back to P90X. Do something, you fucking idiot. Jesus Christ, what a piece of shit. Badger says, does he have a tumor on his elbow? No, it's the upper arm is so small that the elbow sticks out like that. That area just above his elbow, in between the elbow and shoulder, but just above the elbow, that's like the size of a little boy's wrist. Oh, my God. What a physically defective slob. Ugh. All right. Well, that was great. I'm very happy that he did that. Everyone telling me to look up a picture of Eugenia Cooney. All right. I'll play your silly games. All right. Let's get a look at this chick. Headline, YouTube star opens up about her eating disorder. All right. Excellent reference. I'm too not with it to get it, but it's still a good reference. God, I was going to go somewhere else with this. Where was it? It was in there, and now I got distracted. What the fuck was I going to talk about? It was related to this. So I started, one by one, I started hearing from people. Like this one. This is Aaron sent this along. He says, Free Beer's tattoo. What did he write? I figured out the inspiration for Free Beer's new tattoo. This scene from Prometheus. Laura had she was one of the first people to tip me off that Free Beer was showing off his tattoo. Laura from New Jersey. She writes, hello, Eric. I just saw the super common and way overly done ink Greg got. I sent it to you on Instagram. I'm a tattoo girl, and artists I know regard octopi or octopus tattoos as among the worst, most overdone, and cliched. What a douche. Stay original. Signed, Laura. All right. My God. Piano Finger Banger says Prometheus is a great film. And away we go. That concludes this destruction of Free Beer's stupid tattoo. Holy shit. If you have any further jokes, you can put them in the chat or send them to me on the Shoreliner Striping inbox, eric@ericzaneshow.com. Yesterday, there was I don't know what it was. It might have been, this was put into my head. But something happened to me last night that's going to make a lot of you laugh. I have been aggressively talking about how much success I've had this week when it comes to eating like anything but a disgusting slob. But there was one comment that was said to me by Chris D. It's turning out to be quite prophetic. EZ, what are you going to do after the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast? That's when you normally crush several bowls of cereal. You got to get that under control or some shit. So I think I was on the air. It might have been on Patreon saying, yeah, I know. I think I'm going to eat right before the podcast. And then I'm going to take it easy or whatever. And then I'll have maybe a piece of fucking celery. And then I'll just go to bed. And everything was going as planned. We finished up the podcast. It's 8:30. Pooh Bear's already in bed. It's time. Now all I got to do is go to bed. And I've done this all week where I've been rooting around in the kitchen. And I've been just go to bed. Just go to fucking bed. And I've been successful at it until last night. So then I'm adding up my calories for the day, and I'm way under what I need to be by 1,000 calories. I've got 1,000 calories to play with. And I go, but this would be great because, if I'm 500 under every day for 7 days, that's about a pound and a half, which is a normal amount of fat loss, which is what I am shooting for. Rebecca says kitchen wandering will get you every time. So I started to wander. And I go, I think I want, now at this point I have had during the day 200 calories worth of carbohydrate foods. There was a little leftover pasta. Everything else is vegetables, one piece of fruit, and protein-based products. A little bit of dairy. That's it. And I was doing great. Felt fine. Some nuts. Stuff like that. And, so I'm doing my wandering. I go, I'm going to have a piece of bread with butter. I inhaled it. Just one more. So now I'm now I'm 250 calories in, maybe 260. And I start thinking about one of those Jimmy Dean sausage sandwiches of the NFK. I go, I'm going to leave his food alone. I walked by the pantry, and I saw it. This box of, we have probably 10 boxes of cereal in there, and we have everything. Raisin Bran Crunch, Apple Jacks, Captain Crunch, Crunch Berries, Honey Nut Cheerios, and but my eyes really stopped, and I said, "Hello there, Corn Pops. You look lonely. Let's get reacquainted." Grab that yellow box, and I knew I was getting down to business because I just reached in and grabbed the bag that's in and just lifted it out because I knew I was whatever was left in it was going away. It was probably a little more than a third of the box. And that took me through 3 gigantic bowls. So I'm going to guess the cereal and the milk was 700 to 800, maybe more. It was outrageous. And then I just, lately, I've been waking up in the morning and thinking, oh, no, you fucked up last night. But then I'm like, oh, no, you didn't. But this morning I woke up and it was the opposite. Oh, I'm glad I didn't. Oh, no, I did. And then it's just complete. It's unbelievable the level of regret that you have. You know? It's really bad. It just messes with my mind. So there we go. Back at it today. Everything's gone fine. I did eat my lunch before I did this show. But Piano Finger Banger describes it as post-nut clarity. Yeah, that's when you throw your phone across the room and you're just mortified at your behavior. The hunger and this type of what I just described to you, it's a very primitive responding to chemicals and urges in your brain, not that different than the post-nut clarity. Chris says, then you reach the point where you say, fuck it, today's already a waste. May as well finish the box, LOL. One moment of weakness is not going to define me, of course. Back at it today, and the chin is going to try to concentrate and get through the day. Right now, I feel great. I wouldn't touch a bowl of cereal if you went to pay me. But I think it's a lot of environmental. It's wrapping up that show yesterday. My work is done. Let's celebrate before we go to Apple Jacks, Corn Pops. You know, actually, I think it is a testament to clean living if the level of when you want to break the rules is a bowl of sugar cereal. I think that's a win, ultimately, you know? All right. So that kind of is where the day took me yesterday. Glad to be here with you. For those who are watching on Facebook and YouTube, I'm going to encourage you to follow me on Twitch if you want the rest of this show. Twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live, or download the Twitch app and search Eric Zane Live. I got a full supporting cast behind me now. I don't know what they did when they went out of here, but they're back. And spending the day today catching up, getting done with this podcast, and then the Patreon bonus podcast. No nap necessary today, so I'll probably be done earlier than what I normally do during the week. But there we go. So if you are watching the show on Facebook and YouTube, I am going to send you on your way. But I want you also to consider signing up for the Patreon for free. I just had a couple of spots open up. Tophus has canceled. At least that's the way it shows on my end. If that's the case, that's remarkable. We were hitting it off really well, but he got into a fight with Chris P. And it wasn't really a fight. Chris told him to calm his tits because there was something going on, which is pretty par for the course with this group. I mean, everybody pretty much gets along, but that isn't a big deal. And then he got super pissed off at Chris and actually challenged him to a fist fight. So that was a little much. And I don't know where ultimately his brain went, but I think he kind of went off the deep end. He hasn't been back since. And I got the notification that he canceled on Patreon. So it's like, I don't know. We're starting to get to a point where when people do that, I can't control what people do, but just know that if you are watching or listening to this show and you take anything seriously, well, you're a fucking psychopath. Okay? There is no way you can take anything that happens here seriously. I get brutalized, you get brutalized, and at the end of the day, we're just here trying to get a few laughs. All right? Give me a fucking break. Chris D says, got to roll with the punches. Absolutely. You got to roll with the punches. And I'll miss him. Anybody who is not part of the podcast that was before, there comes a time when it's like, enough. I've had enough. Because ultimately, if people come in here and start making it awkward for others, I'm going to focus on that. And I usually like to give a pretty long rope or a long leash on that. And then eventually I'm like, all right, that's it. No more. I can't keep you from watching the show. I can't keep you from listening to the show on the audio podcast, but there are some things I can do. And if you're making it difficult on audience members in the chat, I'm not going to sit here and let anybody attack others, Now, I didn't have to ban Tophus. He kind of saw himself out. He's welcome back. He hasn't gotten that far along, but it has happened. It has happened. All right. Now, I don't mind you making fun in a hilarious way, but like Aram here, he says, Eric has taken my best shots and gotten back up. The problem I run into with you is sometimes I'm trying to figure out what is kidding and what is not, because I don't know, maybe my feeble brain can't figure it out. So I don't have a problem with anybody beating me up. But for some reason with you, I'm always like, is he serious or is he not serious? I don't know. He says, I am always kidding, dummy. Well, there you go. I'm glad you said that. Let's see. Corey says, if you give people a rope too long, they'll end up hanging themselves with it. All right. There, we went down that road. The opening and the live stream on Facebook and Twitch is brought to you by Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid and EV. Great place to get your vehicle repaired. 616-532-6600 for Irvine's. ervines.com. That's ervines.com. They have free loaner cars. If you ever find yourself in the weeds or perhaps you just have some scheduled maintenance that is due on the vehicle, take it to Irvine's. Not only will you get whatever the issue is taken care of, but they're going to do a full and complete inspection of the vehicle. And for some folks, if you go there to get, like, let's say an oil change, and then they determine that there is actually something else wrong with the car, they're going to detail exactly why and with visual proof and evidence of, here, this is also a problem. This thing, and this thing. This one is red light, needs to be taken care of now. This one is yellow light, and this one is yellow light. Yellow ones can wait. Red one, you got to take care of it. We didn't even want to let this car go until you get the red light one taken care of. All right, whatever it may be. And I appreciate that. Now, that's always sometimes a shock, but I would rather them tell me while it's in the shop than me to be on the side of the road picking my asshole waiting for the wrecker service, Grand Valley Towing to take it back. So do yourself a favor and make sure that your vehicle is up to date and repaired and maintained accordingly. 616-532-6600. They did that with Madison's old Accord. And that was when I said, all right, because all of the things that were wrong with it, I was like, yeah, I'm just going to scrap the car. And we did. If you need health insurance through healthcare.gov, let's say you break your arm and, maybe your arm is so weak that you try to lift up like a bocce ball and your arm breaks in half, you're going to be glad you had medical insurance. Healthcare.gov is how you get your insurance policy if you do not have a job or you're in between jobs or your boss does not offer insurance. Or perhaps your boss does offer insurance, but you want your wife under a different policy. You need to go to the marketplace to do that. And the best way to do that is have Frank do it for you from mypolicyshop.com. Frank will take you through everything, and it doesn't cost you a dime. If you want to get on Frank's radar, go to buyinsurancehere.com. Trust me on this. You're going to want to do this. Buyinsurancehere.com. He can also help you if you or someone you know or love is getting ready to take advantage of Social Security benefits or maybe even Medicare. You go to buyinsurancehere.com. Frank will help you every step of the way. That's buyinsurancehere.com. Frank's helped a number of my audience members. Eric made me shave my head after the constant assaults on my hair, said Man Bun Chris. Wait, sorry, I knew it was a joke. Jeremy says, I've lost 70 pounds, but Eric will lay into me harder than we ever picked on Tophus if I have one bad week. David says, I sent you a news story if you need some content, easy. Thank you. I appreciate you. I think I'm good right now, but maybe we'll save it for the Patreon. Bob says in Pennsylvania, there's a tow company around me that's called Camel Tow. That's awesome. Jeremy says, concerning me beating him up, that's what's kept me consistent, by the way. That's what happens. That's what keeps me consistent. That's what I need. Matt, neighbor of Coleman Lutz, says, does that insurance cover shitty tattoo removal? I am so excited that I have a direct pipeline to Coleman if he's not in the room. Can you imagine how many laughs the father of Greg's wife's kids is going to have looking at that ridiculous arm and tattoo this weekend over a couple of beers? God, that'd be fun. I wish, Matt, that you, me, and Coleman and Coleman's better half and your wife were together with Pooh Bear so we could all point and laugh at that little boy arm. Ugh. Man Bun Chris says, hey, EZ, my guest on Ben and Eric wants to know if you remember her name the second time. All right, a little bit of background. Yesterday on the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast, Chris had a nice, sweet lady next to him. And I go, oh. So I turned on Eric's Zaitunian charm and I said, oh, wow, hello, how are you? Oh, who is this? And after a couple seconds, it was said, yeah, you met me. Oh, and everybody reacted with a laugh right in my fucking face. I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's happening. It's happening right now. And, okay, it begins with an M. I'm pretty sure it begins with an M. Confirm or deny the M. I know it's not Mandy or Maria or Maureen or Melissa or Melinda. Ends in a Y. Melanie? Is it Melanie? Please tell me it's Melanie. Waiting for the response. He's typing it right now. Please tell me it's Melanie. Mallory, God damn it! Fucking fuck! Oh, shit! What an asshole. All right, that is Act 1 of the podcast. Act 2 is available right after this one. Go check it out. What are you doing? Don't miss a second of it. Thank you so much.